So welcome, Father Jorge Sanchez,
Hi, Father Paul.
back to Boston. We don't do that here.
Oh, come on, really?
Oh my gosh.
I bet you miss me.
I do.
See,
Somewhat.
it's on.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's on record now, so
We
I
just
can
can't
die
really say
peacefully.
why, but yes.
No, I actually want to know why.
No,
Please
we
tell me
won't
why.
go there. Where are you at these days, Father Jorge? Update the people. Where are you at? What have you been doing?
Oh, the beautiful people of Oblates of the Virgin Mary. Where have I been?
Remember, people are gonna watch this. Hopefully, all 5 people on YouTube.
Oh, to my mom. That's one. To your mom. That's 2. That's 2 of the 5. I've been in Alton, Illinois. I'm a small town boy now. You know, it's just I'm originally from Southern California and living in Alton, Illinois. It's just, if you've never heard of it, don't worry, neither have I. Am I supposed to look at the camera?
No, you just look at me.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yes. Oh, just look into your beautiful eyes.
A
Huh?
small town boy.
I'm a small town boy, and
What does
I
that
live.
mean?
You know, a small town boy to me means living in the Midwest in a town that most people probably have never heard of until you actually go there. It's a really interesting place to be. They call it a city. I go, I'm looking around, and I go,
That's because a city only it has to have 30,000 people, I think, to be defined as a city.
yeah, and that's a small town to me. Going from Long Beach, Los Angeles area, to Alton, it's a small town.
Yeah, how would you describe Alton, Illinois to the people?
If I was to describe Alton, Illinois to the people, I would say it is a very friendly place. They love to feed me, which I love them for that.
Which makes your definition of a small town boy an oxymoron.
It kind of does, you know? It really does, but I still mean it with right here in the pumper. Comes from the pumper, from the heart. And I love pork steak. Like, if you go to Alton for any, I don't even care if you go for any, there's nothing really historical about it. Actually, there is. There is some historical things about it.
Wow.
There's some tall guy named
Alienate the
Wadlow,
people.
Robert Wadlow. He
The
was
tallest guy to ever live.
Yeah, the tallest guy that ever lived.
The Great Flood of 1993.
Yeah, who knows about that? Do you know
Everyone.
about the Great Earthquake of 1994 in California?
No one cares about that.
Exactly. That's my point. I love pork steak though.
Okay, let's bring up the conversation because it's going to go downhill. You've been there for what, 9 months? You were ordained last summer. When we were ordained again, you and Father Jonathan.
So Father Jonathan and I were ordained July 27, 2024 in Southern California at our parish in St. Peter Chanel.
Yeah.
And I actually moved to Alton at the first week of July. I've been in Alton at St. Mary's since July, and it's been one heck of a ride.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the people out there. It's such a great parish and school.
You were there previously, though, as a brother on your pastoral year, right?
Yes.
What would you say is a big difference from being there as a brother? Still a little bit of seminary left, a few years of seminary formation, and now as a priest.
The difference between being a brother and a priest. You know, I love being a brother. There were so many things that I was able to do there, but now people get to hear me more often. Before I was silently being seen in the sanctuary, but now I'm being heard when I'm, saying mass or celebrating the mass, preaching. Now there's a voice to that as opposed to a few years ago when I was seen but not really heard. And now I'm seen and heard. Maybe that's a difference right there for me. Do you mind if I take a sip of my coffee? It's called Bruce with Bruno. There's nothing in there.
I don't know, mine's full. So when you wake up early and show up on time, you can have coffee.
Okay, for the people that don't know this, I was fashionably late, but I'm worth the wait.
We'll see about that. So a voice. You feel like you didn't have a voice.
Yes.
Is that just because you're like a brother and you...
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, say more about that.
No, I not that I felt invisible as a brother or anything like that. It was just more of I knew my role that I wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord didn't want me. He wanted me to be present as a brother. What that entailed was many things: helping out at the high school, being a server, for example, at the high school, but not really
What high
having
school?
a voice. The high school that right now that we have up the hill is Marquette Catholic High School. Um, so I would
Very
help
good.
out there. I didn't really have much of a voice per se, just showing up, serving for mass, teaching a class, co-teaching a class with Father Paul Nguyen. What do we teach? Catholic social teaching,
Something like that.
something like that. Um, but yeah, now it's just different. And now people tell me, "Oh, Father, we loved your homily," and I go, "Oh, great." I forgot what I said. Um, there's also the. It's gonna sound. I think every priest will say this, especially newly ordained priests, because at least when I talk to Father Jonathan, just the conversions of being in the confessional, especially those powerful moments where people really share their hearts, especially when they say, "I've never told this to anybody else," but and they just share something deep in their heart. That's a huge difference, and kind of just receiving that and just letting them sit with whatever that they share, that awkwardness, that shame, whatever it is, and being there as a spiritual father, it's been a huge difference.
Yeah. What would you say? You've been ordained for 9 months.
Hmm.
Uh, if you had to describe the past 9 months in one word, what would that word be?
Gift.
Okay, now you can elaborate.
It's a gift because, um, everything that happened in formation here in the seminary, there was high moments, there were low moments, and in the moment, it didn't feel like anything is working. Like, what's the point of this? What's the point of showing up? I don't know, on time to morning prayer. Why do I get called out for not showing up on time? Why do we need to do all these chores? Um, but it was in all of that kind of looking back on it, I'm like, oh, it was kind of like the road to Emmaus. When Jesus is
Did you look
walking.
at the gospel today?
Yeah, I did. Was that today's gospel or was that
Yeah,
tomorrow's?
it's today.
Okay, yeah. I got confused. It's kind of like the road to Emmaus when I was praying with this. I was just thinking, man, Jesus is walking along with these two guys, or was it two or three?
Two.
Two guys, yeah. He's walking with two guys, and they're not realizing that he's there. And how many times did that happen in the seminary for me, where just kind of felt like, oh, what's the point of this? What's the point of, you know, the frustrations with community? But now looking back on it, it was sort of like a resurrection moment where Jesus was there, and there really was, he really was present, kind of seeing it from, how at the end of the gospel with the road to Emmaus, Jesus kind of just, you know, what's the word? It says something about,
Made himself known to them, breaking of the bread.
no, no, no. I mean, yeah, that one's good too, but their eyes were open through scripture. Some I can't remember the exact phrase that just really stood out to me. It was kind of Jesus saying, I'm gonna walk with you guys here, but we're gonna revisit this moment in a new way. And being a priest, praying back on when I was in formation, is kind of revisiting those moments in a new way, seeing that Jesus was walking with me on that road to priesthood. And I'll be honest, I forgot your original question because I went on a tangent. So
What's a specific moment that you can look back on and like, oh, like the Lord was there, and that was very formative for me.
mm,
Now that I'm a priest.
asking for help, that was very formative for me. Coming into the seminary, I always had this idea that you can figure it out on your own. You don't need help. And being in community, it first of all, it makes you realize how human you really are, living with other guys who come from different cultures, different backgrounds, were raised different. And then asking for help was one of the toughest things I ever had to overcome. It may seem easy for other people, but for me, it's just swallowing up that pride, or whatever you want to call that self sufficiency, and allowing others to help. Asking for help, that was one of those grace moments that God kind of revealed to me as I went on information. Asking for help is okay. It doesn't make you weaker. It makes you actually stronger, and it helps your brothers use their gifts and their talents to help you because they want to help you. But you're not going to get help if you don't ask for it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. one of the biggest revelations for myself. Um, but then also the realization too that these people want to help you. These guys want to help you that are your formators. They're not there just to remind you that you show up late, to liturgy the hours, or like, hey, you need to do this better. But like they have a genuine a love for you, not just to make you a priest, not just to make you an oblate of the Virgin Mary, but just to help you grow to be a better man, out of love.
Yeah, and that rings true. Just looking back on time in the seminary where I made mistakes, I thought for sure, oh, I'm getting kicked out for this. My grades were not too good. Oh, I'm getting kicked out for this. When I made a mistake, oh, I'm getting kicked out for this. And when my formators, whether it was Father Tom or even Father Sean, the mercy that they showed, I said, thinking, do you hear yourselves? I would definitely kick me out. Why aren't you kicking me out?
How many times do you have to take comps?
Yeah. You know what? We don't talk about that dark moment in history. Okay, let me just.
Invisible coffee there.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. It's so true. Um, what kind of stick with that theme of community? What would you say is a gift of being a new priest in community, especially in Alton, where it's a smaller community, but a community nonetheless.
Right. So one of the give people background living in the seminary, there's about 20 of us living here in Boston in formation, and then I get transferred to Alton, and it's down to 3 of us.
Yeah.
So there really is. Okay, here's a little secret. When you live in a large community, we get to sit wherever we want. And if you want to avoid a certain person, you just sit at a certain table, especially if you have tension with that person.
No,
No,
never,
never. Uh, but now living in with a community of 3, there really is no avoiding that person. There really is no avoiding that tension. It's just sitting there with my brothers and my oblate brothers who are much older than me. They're both in their 60s. Hear them talk about their shows that they grew up with in, God, the 70s or 60s or whatever. And
yeah.
about just nod and smile, nod and
Was there
smile.
color back then?
Yeah, I don't even know if there was color back in the world back then. But and then I forgot one time we were talking about something on the table at the table. They were talking about their TV shows, and they looked at me and they're like, "What? Have you heard of that show?" No, I've never heard of that show. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I watched Pokemon when I was a kid. What's that? Then I had to explain Pokemon. I hear Brother Migo laughing in the background. He
Yes,
distracts me.
he leaves soon.
Oh, thanks be to God. But no, there really is a gift at living in a small community, because we have to be really intentional with our communication. Whenever there's a misunderstanding of any sort, we really have to sit down and talk about it, even if there's tension, specifically during certain moments of the year. But there is this beauty in it. Like, I can't hide. I can't avoid sitting with I need to sit with this guy at the table, and the meals are much smaller. Um, when I was in formation here, at once every Saturday, 2 guys are assigned to cook, and I had to cook for 20 people. It's like cooking all these things, and then there was a time where I had to cook for our community. There's only 3. Huge difference. Huge difference. It doesn't feel as stressful in a good way.
How about though, just kind of like that aspect though of you're not alone though, because I know, because I spent a few years in Alton, and even here, being back here, it's the largest community the province here in the U.S. and Philippines combined. Um, but it's you can look around at your diocesan brothers and guys that I knew, especially back in the diocese there in Springfield, Illinois diocese, and you see how they're the only ones in the rectory, the only ones they have multiple parishes. Um, which is both a blessing and a cross for them. Uh, but knowing that even with all the difficulties that you can experience in community life, you come back from Mass or you come back from another apostolic uh, assignment or something, or you've been away on vacation or your retreat, and it's like you're coming back to a house where you're not going to be alone. And there's something comforting about that, even when there's difficulties. What is that like for you?
I was talking to one of my diocesan buddies priest buddies out in, well, Illinois, and we were having lunch. We were just talking about our rhythms of life, and he was just kind of sharing his rhythm of his life. And he was telling me, I was telling him, oh, we do morning prayer together, evening prayer. Once a month, the three of us can celebrate mass together. We eat lunch together. We eat dinner together on Sundays. We do recreation together.
A lot of
So
together.
yeah, a lot of together. And he was saying, wow, uh, sometimes, actually, at the time when we were having lunch, he said that he told me, I haven't seen my pastor in 3 weeks. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, he just kind of does his thing. I kind of do my thing, and he runs the show, and I'm just part of the show. I'm just, he's a star, and I'm just the guest role, so to speak. Um, so that was a huge difference for him. That was a huge difference for me. I'm sorry, and for him, I guess. Uh, Realizing that that there, I am meant for community. I'm meant to live in community.
Mm.
There was a time when Father John and Father Chris, we hadn't seen each other, I think, on a whole Saturday. For whatever reason, we were covering masses in different parts. I think I was in Calhoun. Father Chris had a wedding in St. Louis, and Father John had masses at St. Mary's. So we were all over the place. And at the end of the day, I said, in a Zoe night prayer and examination, I was just thinking, huh, I haven't seen Father Chris and Father John in a little over 24 hours. I kind of miss him. So there was that realization of that.
Do you ever think you'd say those words?
No. No, it was this realization that, oh, I mean, it's, that as much as it is a small community, yeah, that I get used to them being around with them, getting to talk to them. Sometimes I'll go to Father Chris, like, hey, I need advice on XYZ. Or for marriage prep, I said, oh, what advice do you have for me for marriage prep? Or, if a person says XYZ in the confessional, what advice do you have for that? So they're good to have because Father Chris and Father John do have that wisdom of being priests. I think Father John has been a priest for 26 years now, and Father Chris, I forget for how long. But they're both good, and we're both, the three of us are unique.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And too, cool to kind of listen to you how that theme of asking for help continues, which
Yeah.
is a very big part of priesthood early on, that first year of being able to go a more experienced priest, obviously, like Father John, Father Chris, or whoever that, yeah, like how do you react in these situations? What do you say when you hear this in the confessional or someone just asking you for advice? Because, nothing against the holy people of God, but I think a popular thought is that, oh, you're ordained, now you can fix all my life problems. You'll have all the right answers. It's like, yeah, not really. But you can still have, go to them, ask for help that you figured out in the seminary there. You never thought you would.
Sorry, yeah, that's a really good thought, but most of my tummy was growling because I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh, can
I
you
hope the
get
microphone
over
didn't
that?
pick that up. It was kind of loud.
Wow, now I know what it must be like to be your spiritual director.
Hey, my spiritual director loves me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but there is something
ahead.
about that, just the people of God, when you say that they have a solution, my solution is go pray. Go pray. Go and trust this to Jesus even more. If you thought you were trusting him with a certain situation, give him time. Let God be God.
Yeah.
That's usually my
It's not bad.
answer.
What's something you learned about yourself that you didn't know before 9 months ago? I say that as you think there because I was just telling this to the young adults recently here at St. Clement's in the young adult group that, and even to the guys who are discerning the vocations, that I think I've learned more about myself in 5 years than I did in the first 34 years of my life. And definitely in the 7 years that I spent here as a seminarian, as a postulant, novice, and brother. And I didn't expect that. And it's like still learning more and more.
What do you mean?
Not asking. Well, I'm asking you the question. So I just think like I learned more about who I am.
Yeah.
My strengths, my weaknesses, where I can improve, what I like, what I don't like, both about everything.
I think for me, one thing I learned about myself as a priest is, which I never knew how much I love the mass. uh, yeah, it's there's a difference between sitting in the pew and being in the sanctuary, and I don't mean that like in a way of oh, I'm being the center of attention, all eyes on me, and everybody's
That would
listening to
never
me.
be you.
No, that would never be me. I'm so humble. I'm known for my shining humility, by the way, for the people that
The
don't know
lights are
this.
glowing off your face right
Yes,
now.
we don't even have lights in the
Oh, I
studio. It's
forgot.
my
Sorry.
holiness.
Sorry. We
It's
are
my
the
holiness.
resurrection.
Yes. um, there is something just so beautiful about the mass that I that I understood before as a priest, but now that I'm up there just saying those words, take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. Just saying those words. Did I say that right? Did I butcher it? I said it right, right? You've
You're
been a
close.
priest for 5 years. Yeah. I'm so new at this. Just saying those words has been really, really powerful. Just saying them and meaning them. Um, there's just something so beautiful that I at least that I learned about myself is my love for the mass has definitely increased a lot, and I guess too just the love for people that I didn't know I could have. That I just for the people just coming in with their problems and how they're not their problems are not mine to carry. They're not my crosses to carry. Just listening to them in that moment, showing them mercy, whatever they need in that moment, and then just like, all right, Lord, take care of this. you know, there's just something beautiful in that. And if I was to say a weakness for mine, because you didn't ask that, but I'm asking myself that because I'm a good interviewer.
That's going to be my next question.
No, of
So,
course
Holy
it was.
Spirit.
No, that's the Holy Spirit. Of course it was.
You just, my voice is implanted in your head at this point.
Oh gosh, please no, Lord, let it change the voice, please. I don't need to be haunted, but like that. I think a weakness for me definitely would be saying yes to a lot of things, kind of overloading my schedule. That has been a huge thing for me. That I always tell people you need to learn how to say no, but I'm telling them I'm telling that I'm giving that advice as much as I'm saying it to
Preaching
myself.
to yourself.
Yes, I just don't know how to say no sometimes. But Father Chris has been really good at that. He goes, you can't do that. That's not going to happen.
That's your ass.
Hold on, can I?
Impressive.
Thank you, Amy. You're the best.
Take your sippy sip.
Now I'm legit.
All right, so now I would say pick it back up with your weakness, saying no. But Father Chris is good about that.
Father Chris is really good at keeping my schedule or keeping me or asking me, holding me accountable. You need to take a break. That's what he says a lot. I was supposed to be here in Boston for the gala. I'm going to fly in Thursday or Friday morning. He goes, you need a break. I want you to go to Boston and just relax. No giving talks to young adults. No, just take a break for a few days. Take a break and enjoy it. So I came in early a few days and trying to take a break, but now I'm being, pulled into this procession. So it was just.
I think you put yourself into the procession.
No, I didn't. I was asked. I had no idea this was going on until I arrived.
Anyway, so learning to take breaks.
Yeah, that's been a huge part. That's another thing, actually, one of my weaknesses that I've been learning about myself is taking my day off. I do take my day off, but man, the Holy Week and then just the last few weeks, a lot of things have been topsy-turvy in the parish where I had to come in and actually work on my day off. Father Chris just said, it'll be fine. If anybody needs to, the parish will not, what did he say? The ministries will be fine. If somebody wants to meet on Tuesday, which is my day off, I'm sorry, I can't meet on Tuesday. You're going to have to make it work on some other day. You need the person that wants to meet on Tuesday. I've been slowly learning to say, I need to meet on some other day. Yeah.
What do you like to do on your free day?
I love getting Mexican food on my day off. Oh, you have
Dude,
no
it's always
idea
about
how
food.
it's always about food. I've been doing it since I was born. Been eating. What do you want me to do?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Uh, there's this Mexican restaurant. I was looking for authentic Mexican restaurants in the area, and I got the ones in Alton, and they're just fine, but they're too Americanized. For example, enchiladas, they they add cheese sauce to everything. I don't know what's the obsession with cheese sauce in Alton.
Like the queso or what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Good.
look at you saying queso. I'm so proud of you. You know a Spanish word. Um, but yeah, cheese sauce, or queso as you call it. It just doesn't make sense for a Mexican with enchiladas. It's either that what we call the queso fresco, which is like feta cheese that goes in an enchilada. If you put cheese sauce, aka queso, on an enchilada, it's just a mortal sin for Mexicans. Um,
Just to
so
let people know, though, Father Jorge was not even born in Mexico. He was born in California.
yes, I was, but California is Mexico 2.0, so you know.
Whatever. All right, let's bring the conversation back up. I don't want to hear any more about Mexican food. Um, Tips for men discerning. I would say start off with if why should young men be open to not only priesthood but religious life?
I think one of the three words that came to mind is pray, think, act. Pray about it, think about it, and then act on it. There's a lot of young men and women too who are discerning religious life, or for men discerning the priesthood. Um, they they get stuck on stage one, which is pray. Like I'm praying about it. I'm really praying about it. I'm praying about it, and then they'll say, "Oh, I'm thinking about it," and then they get stuck on that stage, but they don't act on it. They just get stuck on those first two stages. Um, so my advice: why should you even consider religious life? Because, well, let me go back. Sorry, fast forwarding there. Don't be a perpetual discerner. Pray, think, act, because that's going to be very important. You're not going to know your vocation, or there's going to be no clarity unless you act. And if you stay stuck in the first two stages, you're just going to be a perpetual discerner. So please, for the love of God, act. You're never going to have 100% clarity ever. You're never ever going to have that. But you do need to have trust in God. That's where trust really comes in. It's in the acting. Even if you don't have 100% clarity, use that trust in God. Take that next step, acting. All it does is just reaching out to a priest or a religious sister. It's not that difficult. Now, a lot of the times I hear young men and women saying, "Well, I just want to get it right." Well, if you are truly discerning and making this move with God, who's walking with you, you're never gonna get it wrong. It's Think of God like as a GPS. He will reroute you back to wherever you need to go. All you need to do is trust. Um, as for religious life, and is that what your question was? Why should someone consider religious life?
Priesthood.
Why should someone consider the priesthood or religious life? It's not really a normal thing to think about for most people, at least for me in my own vocation. Not once did I ever think I was going to be a priest. I wanted to be I was in film. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to be the next Steven Spielberg. So the priesthood wasn't even on my radar. Um, it wasn't until, at least for me, I took the spiritual exercises that there was a call to do something else, which I didn't quite understand, which is that, looking back on it now, was the priesthood. But not once did I ever consider it before that. Not even once. But it was an invitation from God. It was never forced. It was just, hey, how about the priesthood? It was an invitation. And what solidified that was one time at Mass, the priest was saying something. He had like four Masses. I had to celebrate four Masses at my home parish. It wasn't St. Peter Chanel. It was a different parish. He was saying, I had to celebrate four Masses. Please, please, we need to pray for more vocations to step up, become priests, to be take that next step. If God is calling you, please step up. And that was the invitation. Right? That it kept solidifying that invitation from God. And it was a scary thing because, and I'm pretty sure a lot of guys can relate, where you have all these plans and then it just gets shattered by God. Like, no, we're not. We're going to take a little detour here. He was a GPS. He was taking a little detour, because one, never considered it. What are my friends going to say? What is my family going to say? There are all of these things. But once I kind of got rid of all that, I said, Lord, do you really want me here? Really, this is really what you want me to do? And his answer was, there's my love for you. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to take this. I was praying about it, thinking about it, then I acted on it. Took that next step, applied. I visited the Oblates here, and it felt like home. And that was so important to me, visiting a community. Not once did I consider diocesan, just because I knew the Oblates of the Virgin Mary. I knew the charism. It's what I grew up with the spiritual exercises, with Venerable Bruno Lanteri. So I knew what I was getting into, just by going to St. Peter Chanel. And it was when I came to Boston. It's like being home, and that again solidified that desire to be an oblate. I didn't visit any other orders, but because there was just no desire for me to do it. Like, this is home, and it still is. No matter what community I'm in, it's still home. So if you're out there, if you're so what would I say for somebody considering religious life? Well, first of all, pray about it, think about it, act on it, talk to a priest, talk to your parish priest or Father Paul Kalau. He's a vocation director. He's normal. You talk to me. I'm Mexican, and normal. Yeah, and I think there's just something so beautiful about this call that just bring it to the light.
Yeah, coming full circle. So you said that this first year has been a gift. Kind of just went into your vocation story a little bit there, but how does that word of a gift, what is that? What is that to you? What is that for you compared to, gosh, like 10 years ago of not even this being on your radar?
Actually, this wasn't my radar 10 years ago, but I kept running away from it. So that makes sense. Somebody's phone going. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got distracted by it. Yeah, 10 years ago, I was considering this, kind of running away from it. If I was to see the before and after, so to speak, so the before becoming a priest as a gift, I would see that time in formation, even before entering the seminary, was still a time of formation for me. Becoming, not becoming, that's not the word. Entrusting everything to God, that was a gift. Trust that this was the right thing to do. Now, in the present moment, as a priest, it's still trust, but it's a different kind of trust. It's a deeper trust. It's a trust that, that, how can I phrase it? It's a deeper trust that what I said yes to is still unfolding. That yes is still unfolding, even in the now, even in the present moment. It's still being a gift. It's a gift that's still
Being unwrapped.
being unwrapped.
Nice. All right, what's your top 3 favorite movies to wrap this up? We'll go back and forth. Top 3 favorite movies.
Ooh,
Spicy.
okay. So we were just talking about movies yesterday. My top 3 favorite movies are Peanut Butter Falcon. You've seen it?
Yeah, we watched it here.
Oh, that's right. You were here.
I think I'm the one that mentioned it.
Really? I thought it was Father Sean Morris.
Give him the glory. Give it to me. I don't know. I know we watched it in Milton when I was in Milton for a year,
Oh,
and
that's right.
think I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one. This is not a well-known movie, but it's called King of the Hill, not the TV show.
I was gonna. Oh my gosh. Scandalous.
It was
King of the Hill. When did that? What is that?
1993. It was it takes press. It all right. Let me see again. King of the Hill in 1993. It takes place during the Depression era in St. Louis, but it's the Depression through the eyes of a 12-year-old boy who doesn't quite understand what's going on. You kind of see his story just unravel, and you see his parents struggling, and he just doesn't get it because to him, he's a kid. He's 12 years old. Very, very different point of view for the Depression era. That's a good movie.
Is this one of your favorite movies before you came a small town boy living near St. Louis?
Yeah, I think that's what inspired it.
Yeah.
When we become a small town boy.
Awesome.
And the third one is okay. I'm thinking of three, so I gotta narrow it down to just one.
Top 5.
Gosh, see now you're
So
gonna
get
make
rid
me
of
think.
one.
Okay, so there's this movie Temple Grandin.
Dang it, took one. But no, I can still say it.
Yes, Temple Grandin. Is that what it's called? Temple Grandin.
Yeah, Temple Grandin.
Yeah, it's a great movie about this girl who who has autism, and she just the way that her journey with having autism, it's really, really inspiring. It came out in the 2000s, I think.
Yeah, it's not old. I forget what year. We watched
Yeah.
it several years ago here in seminary. Father Tom had us watch it.
Yeah,
So hilarious.
it's
Hilarious
hilarious.
moments.
Yes. Another one. It's not really a movie. It's more of a documentary. I'll Push You.
Yeah, he's stealing all my movies. This is not fair.
This is why we can't have a podcast together. It's a great documentary. You should totally watch it, Father Paul.
I've watched the thing. I think I watched it like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll Push You.
It's called I'll
Yeah.
Push You.
I thought your favorite movie was The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast.
We'll edit that out.
Mean Girls. You always talk about Mean Girls.
I've watched Mean Girls a few times with Father Jim.
Oh,
All right, so you got one more. You said 4. You got one more.
Oh, yeah. What was the 5th one? Let me rewind the tape. I forgot. What did I say already? Pacific Rim.
That movie's been banished from the seminary, by the way. I've banished that.
No, I heard they watched it this year.
They might have, without my knowledge, when I was gone.
Of course.
It's definitely not allowed on come and see weekends. It's banished. And so is Pacific Rim 2, 3, and 4, however many movies there's been.
I don't even know.
And anything that's similar to that.
Pacific. Really?
Yeah.
That's a classic. It's one of those movies where you could just turn off your brain and not think.
Yeah. There's no, what do they call it, drifting? We don't do that here.
Drift compatible.
Being drift compatible. Yeah, we don't do that here anymore.
Yeah. What about you? What are your favorite?
My
5?
favorite ones. Definitely Gladiator 1.
Of course.
With Russell Crowe, not number 2. The reason why number 2 was good is I had such low expectations for it. There was nowhere to go but up.
I had ice in my mouth and I was about to chew it, but
Oh my gosh.
on mic.
So Gladiator 1, not 2. Just epic. You can watch that any day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say to stick with some military theme. 12 Strong, very good. Every time I fly Southwest, I probably watch part of it because it's still on there. The story of the first U.S. Armed Forces into Afghanistan after 9/11, literally riding on horseback. I think there's a monument down in New York City, which is pretty cool. Gladiator 12 Strong, and then one that hasn't been mentioned, I would say, it's been a while since I've watched it, but The Passion of Joan of Arc.
Oh, that's a good
It's
one.
a silent film. Can't really find it in very many places, though, and we don't have DVDs and Blu-rays anymore, so difficult to find. But that's very good. And then you took my other 2 that I was going to say. Temple Grandin, which is hilarious. Very, very good story. And then I'll Push You. I think every I don't know if the guys have watched it this year yet, but I think it's something that every seminarian in religious life needs to watch.
We watched it at St. Mary's recently.
Well, I had the teachers at Marquette watch it when I was there my second year,
Uh-huh.
that for their retreat day before the year started, like the day before school started. And some of them, there was complaints, oh, you're making us watch a movie for 75 minutes. It's like, you don't watch a movie for something, like, come on here. Like, this is,
It's a free day.
and then they're like crying. Even some of them, the male teachers were crying. I was like, yeah, that was a drop the mic moment. That one went really well.
Mhm.
If I had to say one more to take out the two that you mentioned, the documentary Free Solo, crazy,
I haven't seen it.
with Alex Honnold.
Mhm.
Free solo. So he climbed, was the first person, it's the only person to climb El Capitan without a rope.
Nice.
And what's amazing about it, well, like, one, like, yeah, like, it's, to us, it's crazy. To him, it's not. But was watching him grow in relationship, being on the spectrum himself. He talks about that a little bit in the documentary, but he is dating a woman, and they're married now with kids, but watching him, kind of like with Temple Grandin,
Mhm.
of not being capable of showing emotion or even like receiving, physical affection, or how to even do that. By the end of the documentary, able to like tell this woman that he's dating that he loves her and to show her affection, like the truth that we're all created for relationship. I think was an awesome hidden theme
Mm.
in the documentary. So this would be my top 5,
Nice.
top 6, or whatever.
I have 2 questions.
You can't have to go to the chiropractor
Oh, what time's your appointment?
soon.
Soon.
You get one question.
I get 2. All right. Why am I your favorite?
Why are you my favorite? Is this gonna go on podcast? Is this gonna go on because the not nice answer? It would be racist for me to say. It would be very wrong. Something about, what do you call yourself? You're the
Small town boy?
no, you're the what hire St. Mary's.
Oh, yes. I forgot to tell people I'm a DEI hire for
He's a
St.
DEI.
Mary's. Yes.
I need a DEI friend in my life. Oh my gosh. You're why do I like Father Jorge?
Yes, it's an important.
I was kind of forced to.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't vocation director that brought you in, so you can be thankful for that. You're easy to talk to, I would say, which makes that sound really weird. I think we're probably very much alike in many ways. Normal, down to earth, like to have fun. We're not very serious. We're serious, but you don't have to be serious all the time, which is very good. So there's one. All right.
All right.
One question.
One question. The other one's going to require me to take out my phone for a specific reason, but I'm not texting. I promise. I am not texting.
He never does that.
No. So, Brother Paul, you ready for this? This is going to take some thinking for you. Can you name as many saints as you can in 15 seconds? Ready and go.
No, don't do this to
Come
me.
on, do it.
No.
Yes, come on.
No, this was already an Instagram video.
I know, but let's. I want to hear your side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Peter, Paul, James, Bartholomew, Simon, Jude, Linus, Cletus, Clement, Sixtus, Cornelius, Cyprian, Cornelius. I'm saying them all over again. Chrysogonus, John, Paul, Cosmas, Damien, Cecilia, Anastasia, Rose, Anthony, Francis of Assisi, Francis Xavier. I'm done.
Yeah, I was more than 15 seconds. I just wanted to see you suffer. I just wanted to see you suffer.
And I knew I shouldn't have. As I did the canon today, EP number 1 at Mass. So I was like, our seminarians need something more than EP number 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make some people in the church suffer. But I omitted the parentheses with all the saints' name just to go a little bit quicker. It was like, this is going to be a 30-minute daily Mass for sure. And it was.
Hey,
So,
it's Easter.
It's Easter, the resurrection. All right, cool. Thank you.
Brews with Bruno. It was empty earlier, but now it has coffee in it.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee,
Which is good. Dunks his life. For sure.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
So,